Welcome back to Inside Games, the only gaming show brave enough to conveniently shred any evidence of our bravery right before the episode.
Oh, we were so brave too, and we had all of this evidence, but guess you'll just have to take our word for it. Didn't happen, wasn't there?
Yeah, we're taking a page from the Activision Blizzard playbook this week, who, according to claims from the state of California, have been actively shredding evidence before the state can look at it.
And more. That's just the most bite-sized version of what they've been doing. Again, we should say this is all alleged and according to amendments made to the ongoing lawsuit between California State's Department of Fair Employment and Housing and Activision Blizzard, as reported by Axios earlier this week. Good God, that was a sentence.
Those are pretty serious claims, so we obtained a copy of the amended lawsuit filing ourselves. Lawrence went digging, as he has been wont to do for a very long time, just to verify and actually provide some context for all of this.
Yeah, I'm getting pretty good at finding legal filings in the state of California. And just as a brief aside, like, there was a lot of telephone going on with this. Like, Axios had the original report, and nearly everything was derivative of that. So I just wanted to go back to the source and not only verify all the claims, but see what else there was. And there's more. There's secrets. But so at the end of our investigation, not only can we actually verify that the DFEH does straight up accuse Activision Blizzard HR of shredding documents and deleting emails within days of an employee's separation, they did so knowing that they were under investigation and knowing that state law required not only the preservation of those materials, but the sharing of them with the investigative committees as well.
Okay, on page 27, quote, DFEH is also informed and aware that documents have not been maintained and preserved as required by law or by the DFEH's document retention notice, including, but not limited to, documents related to investigations and complaints were shredded by human resource personnel, and emails are deleted 30 days after an employee's separation.
And that's just the popcorn. That's the easy one to figure out. It gets worse, and there's some big stuff in here.
Lawrence, I am so happy I sold my stock. I'm so happy I sold my stock. I'm just gonna get rid of it because it pissed me off. Like, I honestly, like, this garbage company cult. You know what? Fuck it. I'll just do it right now. Boy, am I happy. And not because of I'm losing money, just because of the more that these stories come out, the more I'm like, I don't want to be associated with Activision Blizzard at all. Anyways, there's a pretty big bombshell in this amended filing that Lawrence actually found that sheds a lot of light on why Activision Blizzard hired the law firm WilmerHale to, quote, conduct a review of our policies and procedures to ensure that we have and maintain best practices to promote a respectful and inclusive workplace.
At the time when that announcement was made, it ruffled some feathers appropriately. A lot of outlets were reporting that WilmerHale has helped stop Amazon employees from unionizing in the past, and they advertise services that they provide to giant corporations to help them on union awareness and avoidance.
But it turns out the real reason Activision Blizzard hired a law firm to audit itself, according to the lawsuit, is entirely to suppress evidence from the state's investigation.
Yeah, this is some real, like, 4D evil chess. So, as the state claims, quote, defendants retained a law firm to conduct an attorney-led confidential investigation of unlawful practices raised in employees' complaints and assist with the government enforcement action.
Or stated less formally, Activision Blizzard intentionally uses lawyers to conduct its workplace malpractice claims because once any information is shared with that lawyer, that information is then protected under client-attorney privilege.
Yep, which means, sorry guys, we can't give it to the state. It's protected. Jesus Christ. So this is how they describe it, quote, defendants refused to produce relevant evidence to DFEH, claiming that the company's receipt of complaints or investigation of discrimination or harassment complaints is privileged, and they thereby suppressed evidence and interfered with the government investigation seeking relief for employees who suffered unlawful conduct.
This is some Emperor Palpatine level skis, like dying and then coming back from the dead and cloning himself, and got a dagger that looks like the Death Star wreckage. This is all sorts of crazy plotting.
Yeah, yep, it also, it gets worse. The suit even specifically calls out Activision Blizzard's stressing that any communication with WilmerHale would be confidential. So, yeah, when they put out the call to their own employees saying, if you want to talk with somebody, talk with our people, it's confidential.
In this context, confidential means give us the dirt so we can bury it.
The DFEH summarizes Activision Blizzard's behavior over the whole course of their investigation like thus, and settle in because this is a bit of a long sentence. All right, quote, Throughout the DFEH 2-year investigation, defendants have taken several adverse actions in response to employee complaints and assistance with the DFEH, including repeatedly cloaking the, quote, receipt or investigation of employee discrimination and harassment complaints in attorney-client privilege, then withholding and suppressing evidence from the government department charged with investigating and remedying such complaints, and ultimately interfering with DFEH's statutory duties to prosecute workplace discrimination and harassment violations on behalf of employees and contingent or temporary workers.
Yeah, and hey, guess what? Hey, that's not all.
Keeps going. Turns out it's this whole web of containment and suppression. So yeah, they did even more to suppress this investigation than shred evidence, delete emails, and exploit client attorney privilege, it turns out.
The claims go on to detail instances of employees being compelled to sign away all future claims, which, by the way, Lawrence and I have been privy to from previous employers, where occasionally they'll put some forms in front of you as you're leaving and be like, sign these, and you're like, no, I'm not going to be doing that. These claims say that they signed away all future claims that they may have with the company without knowing the company was currently under investigation, which is even worse.
Yeah, that's fun. We know we're under an investigation, you don't, so we're gonna make you sign away everything before that shit all hits the fan. They were also, unsurprisingly, compelled to sign abnormally restrictive NDAs stating, quote, I have not disclosed and will never disclose the terms, including any amounts to be paid or existence of the settlement, to anyone other than a member of my immediate family or my attorney or other professional advisor, and even as to such a person only if the person agrees to honor this confidentiality requirement. Such a person's violation of this confidentiality requirement shall be treated as a violation by me.
Again, all this from a company with the explicit knowledge they're being actively investigated, put in front of employees that they have no idea this is going on.
There are also activity violations, such as mandating that employees discuss all matters with Activision Blizzard first before speaking with a government agency of any kind.
Oh, and wouldn't you know it, there was a lawyer in the room, so I guess we won't be discussing that with anyone ever again. Funny how that worked out. Real nice.
Accordingly, Activision Blizzard's response didn't go into much detail on the new evidence suppression claims, aside from simply saying those claims are not true.
Quote, we took appropriate steps to preserve information relevant to the DFEH investigation. Sure you did, ActiBliz. Sure you did.
But apart from that, ultimately meaningless refutation, there have been other more meaningful responses across the Activision Blizzard family of developers this week.
The Call of Duty Vanguard trailers released this week are conspicuously lacking publisher branding. That's real nice. No joke, really, there's a big hole where the Activision logo would probably go. Right now it just says Call of Duty presents Call of Duty.
So I'm going to throw this out there. On one level, very shameful for Activision to be hiding right now. But on another, out of solidarity with the devs that worked on Call of Duty Vanguard, like Sledgehammer, who, let's be kind, probably have nothing to do with this. Let's hope they have a great workplace equality. It would suck ass if their big reveal for their game got overshadowed by all this stuff happening at Blizzard Entertainment and Activision Blizzard as a publisher. So Activision's sort of bowing out of that and making themselves less visible, kind of a nice gesture to the devs where this is supposed to be their big moment. So shitty company doing shitty things, but that is, I don't read that so much as cowardice as like, we need to make sure that people don't get distracted yelling at each other about all the sexism and get excited to buy Call of Duty instead.
Lawrence, you're being real nice to them, and I appreciate that.
Just the people at Sledgehammer, man. They probably didn't do anything wrong.
No, sorry. I mean, you're being nice to Activision for allowing them that. We're doing this for the devs. I mean, maybe they are. I don't know though.
In the end, the Call of Duty trailer had a pretty good reception. So.
And today, probably yesterday when you're watching this, the official Overwatch Twitter posted a project update announcing that they will be renaming the in-game character Jesse McCree after his namesake in the real world was explicitly named in the lawsuit.
Along with that, the Overwatch announcement, they also announced that another piece of story content originally intended to release in September has been delayed, quote, until later this year, replaced with a new free-for-all map.
From the outside perspective, it can look like the dominoes are starting to fall. Activision's running scared, games are getting delayed. So maybe this is the end of the big evil empire they've been making for years.
It's nice to think about that, and for people around the world who have suffered workplace injustices and are upset with maybe how Blizzard Entertainment is, like everyone's hoping kind of that the castle burns down. Unfortunately, looking at it from the big picture, this doesn't really look like a breakout problem at the moment, even though Activision Blizzard has honestly done a really terrible job maintaining their image through the process.
Yeah, we have our perspectives as gamers on the street, but Activision Blizzard's a huge company, operates in billion-dollar budgets. To actively track the impact of a lawsuit we have to actually talk about it in business terms to see what's actually happening when you get a lawsuit of this size.
Which will get a little impersonal, because that's kind of what happens when you're talking about billions of dollars. We don't like, when we talk about it this way, we don't mean to say that the reality dictates the outcome or that it should be that way. We're just kind of looking at it as analysts and newscasters. So don't let any cynicism here make it sound like we're not supportive of the workers at Activision Blizzard not working at a shitty place. Just wanted to disclose that. All right, so business, which means stocks. Their stock value has slid a bit since the lawsuit broke public, going from $91.17 per share on July 21st, when the information first hit the internet, to $81.25 on Thursday, August 26th, the time of writing. Just for perspective, though, the price it is now, that's about the same that Activision was trading at a year ago, which was $83.90 on August 27th, 2020. So year over year, it's not really that different.
No, it hasn't moved much because I've been following it, and I owned the stock up until a few weeks ago, and it really hadn't bounced around. It was just sort of slowly going up, slowly. In addition, CNBC reported today that Morgan Stanley named Activision a top tech pick, clearly unconcerned with temporary ruffles like suppressing evidence from a state investigation.
When it comes to like investor relations, the whole ordeal, all of it, amounted to like 2 questions on an investor call back on August 4th. Activision executives said all the right things, which is to say they didn't really say anything. They always hit this list of all the things they've done to say, like, look, it's solved, don't bring it up again. They didn't. The call went on as normal, and people's money stayed right where it was.
Yeah, so their stock hasn't suffered an uncharacteristic decline, and their investors don't seem to mind what's going on too much. Just pretty much means nothing drastic is going to happen in the near term.
Long term is a different story, and that kind of mostly revolves around whether Blizzard Entertainment as a business unit can retain their talent and ship products.
Or said another way, as long as Blizzard Entertainment keeps generating the $2 billion a year that it does now, investors won't care. And if investors don't care, then management definitely doesn't care.
Let's take a look at what the next couple of years might have in store for Blizzard Entertainment.
Yeah, morale's got to be in the dumpster there. I honestly feel very, very bad for a lot of the people there that are just the normal devs just working on games, and we can relate. It sucks to have your work and your reputation shit on by people you've never even met. It really, really sucks.
Not to mention your day-to-day just becomes the talking stock of people like us. You just want to go to work and make video games, and here we are talking all about it. So yeah, that sucks, and that's going to impact production. There's also been some concrete examples of workforce interruptions. Unsurprisingly, there have been a handful of high-level departures from Blizzard in recent months. Former President Jalen Brack is gone, replaced by Jen O'Neill and Mike Ibarra. Diablo 4 lost its game director when Luis Barriga left in early August, and even before this news broke, Overwatch 2's former director Jeff Kaplan left the company back in April 2021.
And Lawrence, I'm going to drop a little conspiracy theory on you. I bet people knew this was going to break, and I bet they knew months and months in advance. Having worked at other companies, I can usually see, you can hear that stuff rumbling around long before it ever breaks into the press.
There is definitely a feeling in the air when it just goes bad. And you know, and everyone knows, so yeah, that's when people start leaving. And whether or not it breaks, you still know that something's broken. Whether or not it breaks public and people know about it, there's still something wrong there. So yeah, all these departures both before and after this are definitely evidence of that.
So within a single year, Blizzard has rotated out its top executive and the directors on 2 of its big upcoming projects. On top of that, who would even go work for Blizzard now to replace those roles?
Recruiting's going to be a huge problem as more and more people excuse themselves out the back door. 2 employees even mentioned this explicitly, saying that Blizzard Recruiting has contacted them and asked them to stop publicly discussing toxic behavior at the company because it's making recruiting difficult.
So it'll just suck shit to work there more than it already did, which means they won't make much in the next 4 years. I mean, we have no idea when Diablo 4 or Overwatch 2 will ship. And I have no intention of rushing the employees at Blizzard. You do whatever you want. Make sure you're feeling good before you ever put out a game.
Yes, thank you for making that disclosure. On a purely logistical level, it was my perception that Blizzard was already having a little trouble shipping titles, and this is just going to disrupt everything. But again, that's the clinical observation. The human one is, if you're a Blizzard employee, take a nap. Take several naps on company dime, because they're like, what are they going to do, fire you? Maybe, but still.
They have 2 more games on deck in the meantime, though, Diablo 2 Remastered and Diablo Immortal.
Diablo 2 Remastered was largely made by Vicarious Visions before they were absorbed and dissipated into Blizzard Entertainment proper. My guess, by the way, is that was them trying to install functioning production chains inside their own company. Anyway, by all rights, Vicarious Vision's a very functional developer. They've been shipping and developing titles like crazy. So unless Blizzard finds some new way to sandbag this project, it should be in a good state and moving right along.
However, there is still no release date for Diablo Immortal, but revenues from that could more than cover whatever bleed out they experience from World of Warcraft, depending how they monetize that.
Yeah, so World of Warcraft it's basically a whole business unit unto itself, which is kind of the core of Blizzard Entertainment. It generates loads of recurring revenue, and it has two separate product lines unto itself now, the original and classic. So the monthly nature of that revenue and the fact that it requires its individual subscribers to take active action to cancel it means that even if everyone went into Blizzard tomorrow and took naps on their desks, which I wouldn't, might be a good idea. Like if they did that for an entire year, Blizzard would still have trickling in revenue from people who just haven't canceled their WoW subs.
Yeah, and again, with the pending launch of Diablo Immortal, it's hard to see Blizzard's bottom line taking a serious hit in the next couple of years, like in the near term.
Yeah, let's say that people do start canceling World of Warcraft subscriptions and the number starts bleeding out. They launch Diablo Immortal and that revenue is going to shoot right back up. Maybe not for good, again, depending how they monetize. If they over-monetize their players get fed up and stop spending. But come on, it's Diablo, it's mobile, it's probably going to earn a lot of money.
That's just Blizzard Entertainment. Activision Blizzard as a whole corporate entity has plenty of revenue streams, Call of Duty, on top of what they get from WoW and Blizzard Entertainment. So to them, it's just kind of a shitty annoyance that, as far as we can see, really doesn't threaten the whole company.
Yeah, and this is the bummer. This is the sort of cynicism that I was alluding to earlier. But unfortunately, in this case, this does starting to shape up to look like another wonderful day in America where giant corporations can get away with massive worker abuses because it's cheaper in the long run.
Yeah, this was something a conclusion I came to a very long time ago when I sued my employer who was taking advantage of me. Why pay your employees what they're worth now when you can get 10 years cheap labor out of them and then just pay some silly fine to California just all the way down the line? It's like, it's way cheaper than paying those employees for 10 years.
Let's make up a number. 20 million? Like what? And then state of California pays that out to the class of employees and workers that have been disenfranchised, but 20 million. Their yearly revenue right now is $2 billion. The money they saved by like underpaying people and suppressing careers over the course of their entire, it's silly. They've easily cleaned billions of dollars off of abusing their workers. There's no way they're going to remotely pay anything like that back to the state now.
Now that we've done some analysis, we like to share our more personal note. So hopefully the cynicism doesn't get too bad. Yeah.
We don't want our sort of clinical analysis of the situation to imply that we're not supporting Activision Blizzard employees or hoping for a best case outcome. Maybe, it doesn't seem like it given the lawyers and shit, but maybe Activision Blizzard truly will make the changes. There truly will be shifts in management and management culture, and it really will become a great place to work for all sorts of people. That's the best outcome. That's the one I'm hoping for, because Blizzard's great. I've enjoyed their games for decades, and it would really be a shame if they went down like this.
Yeah, I really think that, I honestly, Lawrence, I really do think that this lawsuit is huge inside the company, and I think that there's going to have to be some major cultural changes within the company to adjust for what's happening. Now, whether or not Activision is maintaining their reputation outside of it, meaning to the press and to the public, they're doing a terrible job. But inside the company, they've got to change things. Otherwise, they've now made 500 whistleblowers inside the company. If anything goes wrong, they're all going to talk and they're all going to tweet, and which is great, by the way. They're going to hold their company accountable. So I hope that they continue doing that. And also, that's not to say that for me personally as a content creator, I've been trying to decide, should I play an Activision Blizzard game? And the fact is, I want to support the good employees there. I just don't want to support the executives. So it's very, very hard. It's a very hard thing for a lot of us to figure out how to do. Just even if you're just a normal, game player, you just want to play a game. So I don't know what to do. I'm not sure yet.
Yeah, unfortunately, when I start thinking on that track, I'm like, wait a minute. Everything I do and consume in this world, there's probably money that goes to some shitty executive somewhere. You can't take a breath without Jeff Bezos making another few $1 million. So it's tough. Ethical consumption is a whole thing. You gotta figure out what's right for you, I guess. The cynicism coming back. Ultimately, in the long run, that means that people just consume whatever looks good right in front of their eyes, which is, that's the system we're in. So at least we get them video games.
Well, I I really do hope for a better culture within Activision Blizzard, and I really think that right now is the best time for anybody to take action if you work at that company. So continue to do it. We will continue to support you here at Inside Games.